I'm minding my own business. Seriously. I'm just walking around the house and I hear, "Hey Mark, hey Mark, it's time to do a show." Do we? I think you sometimes I wonder if I just walk into my room on my computer, there you are, and you just waiting for me to sit and talk.
I'm here pretty much 24/7 hanging out, wondering when they're gonna show up.
Where's my good buddy?
Where's my best friend? Mark, where are you?
He's Dewey Freeman. I'm Mark Sylvester. We're the Elder Council.
Good morning, everybody.
I think we have some new people listening. I know that the nation is opened up for new guys to join, and so for those who don't know us, why don't you tell our listener a little bit about what this show is about?
Ooh. Actually, this is one of the most exciting hours that I spend weekly.
Yeah.
And this is about Mark and I sharing our lives with you. And part of the reason that we've chosen to do that is we have cumulatively between us about 140 plus years of experience. And what we like to try to do is to share some of those experiences with you. And one of the coolest things that both of us look at here is as an elder, when I look back, what would I have liked to have been able to talk about or hear about or discuss or sort of kick around with somebody who has had a lot of experience in life when I was 20 or 30 or 40. I know that everybody has to have their own experience, but sometimes we can provide a shortcut, or we can help somebody not fall into a particular hole just by sharing some stuff, so people can get to bypass some of the tough stuff sometimes. And I think the other thing is just the idea of us being creative with each other, and both of us learning from each other, as well as we are working and talking with each other, because we both had incredibly different lives and come in very, very different doors. So that's one of the other pieces, is that just the idea that we as people have very different lives that we can share. A lot of it can overlap, and the stuff that doesn't overlap, we can learn from each other and share. So those are my thoughts off the sort of the top of my head.
I love that. That's a great description of it. Dewey, if I were to I don't know if this comes from a game show, clickbait thing, or if it's actually has some therapeutic purpose, but I'm going to choose to think that it has some therapeutic purpose. If I were to ask you what superpower you would like to have and why, what would you say?
I think the superpower that I'd like to have would be able to explore things that I've not been able to explore, and to be able to do that in a grounded way.
Give me an example, because I saw you. I know you well enough now. I can watch your eyes. You saw a little movie.
That is true.
While we were thinking, and so tell us what you saw.
I actually saw, like, exploring right then was like exploring a volcano, and being able to go to the edge on, well, in this case, the edge of a volcano, but the edge of of things that could be scary,
Mm.
the edge of things that could be maybe even life threatening. And to be able to do that with where I feel the excitement, but I don't turn back because of fear.
So your superpower is that you don't get scared.
Superpower is that I would be able to get scared and still
Know that you were
be,
okay.
know that I'm okay, to know that I'm grounded, to know that I can be be solid in whatever's happening.
So could you see yourself on the bottom of the ocean?
Totally.
And you could see yourself in caves, and so it's all about exploring nature. Give me another example, because I might want to change my superpower.
Well, I think the other example would be that I could be in even interpersonally with people in a really, really difficult situation and hold that and be able to influence. Part of part of my other thought, like I have a whole nature piece, but I also have a whole piece of helping or facilitating or intervening or something. I don't know exactly. Us as a collective group of people become more healthy, more relational, more um, and living more by how we're designed to live. And
So
that does
is
include,
the superpower your ability to influence and get through shields that people put up?
yeah, yeah, certainly on that level for sure. Yeah. And to do that in a kind relational way, to do that in a way that people actually get it. And
Sure.
actually, I'll share more about that because I have a little piece back here that I've experienced this week with, and just reading what another person has written on a social media platform, and so I'll bring that back in without. If I dive into it now, we won't get to hear what your superpower is, and I want to hear what your superpower is.
This this comes up because I'm getting to officiate my niece's. I'm her godfather, and I'm getting to officiate her wedding in a few weeks.
Oh, how cool is that?
And it was so cool. And it was great when they called and asked me, and it was a big deal. And it's super emotional, and I'm thrilled about it. And in preparing, she said, "Well, do you have some questions you want to ask us?" I'm like, "Uh, yeah, of course." I had no idea what the questions were, and so it took me a couple of weeks to figure out what the questions were,
Mm.
and one of them was this question of, if you had a superpower, what would it be? So it's kind
Oh,
of
that's
on my
cool.
mind, because I think it gives us a glimpse into people, and it gives us permission to play with something that is, we don't get that superpower. It could be an aspirational thing, but it's
Mhm.
fun when we dream. So mine is, I want to be able to fly,
Mm.
and not like Superman flying. That doesn't. I never related to that. I I want to hover. I want to be fly more like a helicopter.
Or more like a drone.
Yeah, there you
See?
go. I'm not interested in spying, so I probably wouldn't outfit myself with a camera, but I've had dreams since I was a little kid where in my dream I know I want to get up to see what's happening.
Mm.
I love to see where I am in place. I love maps. I'm a big fan of maps, and I love to get in, like, because there might be, I don't know what I'm going to see. That's why I want to see. And in my dream, and I can do this to this day now, almost 70, where in my dream, I kind of hunker down and I get down and I kind of push up a little bit. And I do, and it's usually by about the third time I'm full and I'm up, and then I'm just kind of get myself up, and then poof, I'm up. And
Mm.
and in those dreams, I'm usually, I don't, I can't now think that I really ever go anywhere. It's not like, hey, I want to fly so I can fly to New York or I can fly to someplace. It's not in my recollection. It's because I want to get up high enough to where I can see all the stuff around. Because I'm so visual, once I can see my place in it, you
Hmm.
go, oh, okay, this all makes sense. That's why I love Google Earth and Google Maps, when I can hold down the keys and I can rotate it and get it down and go, oh. So for me, it's flying.
That's super cool.
So I'm thinking of our audience member now who's probably already gone through all of that, and we would love to hear in the comments what your
Yeah, what
superpower
your
is.
superpower is. Yeah.
And why, and what is it, why? So we got a couple of whys. So it's we're just in the very beginning of summer. We had solstice a couple of weeks ago, longest day of the year. We had our big annual summer solstice parade here in Santa Barbara, which is wacky and fun and playful and creative. And a bunch of our improv troupe were in a mask workshop that lasted a couple of months, and they all had these wonderful masks and interacting with the kids along the play route. And it got me thinking about vacations and the role of vacation in our lives, as parents, as kids, and as just two adults who want to take a break from the regular, just the life. And so I thought we'd spend some time talking about that, because I'm not a workaholic. I'm pretty balanced, but I work a lot, and
Mhm.
we don't get away. We're going to take, like, it's a big deal. We're taking today off. I'm so excited. We're going to go have a play date. It was our anniversary last week, and we couldn't get away, but we're going to go down to LA and see a show and just do whatever we want to do and just have a little break. But I'm talking more of an extended time away from the day to day. And when I say that, what are you feeling in your body?
Um, I love vacations.
Well, you go to Alaska. You guys go to Alaska and
We go
spend a
to,
long
yeah,
extended period there.
yeah, we've gone to Alaska. We've gone to, um, uh, like we've gone to New Zealand. There's a thing that for us, that getting into a place that is less, that's, well, let me put it in positive terms. It's more primitive. And
Oh,
this actually sort of goes to that superpower, that's actually more primitive, that a little bit more living on the edge, a little bit, um, being in a place that, and I mean, there was a time in my life where I would go and it would be pure survival, were the places I would go. That's
oh.
not quite it now. But there's something really special about being out where there's few or no people, and in a very deep nature based place. So, and that's what's healing for me. That's the vacations that I love.
How important is the anticipation of the vacation?
Actually, I hadn't thought about that. What I do, and happens in the planning of it, what I do is I have pictures in my pictures and little movies like you talked about in my head about what this could be. What's interesting about it is I'm usually not that close. And oftentimes it's more fun than I had pictured. But I do get to live in that a little bit. So I like that.
Anticipation is something that I learned, I think it was from my mom, because she made a big deal about making destinations a surprise.
Mhm.
There was, I mean, up to and including, uh, in a very loving way, blindfolding my brother and I in the back seat of the station wagon, so we wouldn't know, because she says the value of the surprise and the expectation, the anticipation, the what's it going to be,
Mhm.
is as big a part of it as the thing.
Well, that's interesting.
So I've always, and she instilled a spirit of surprise that went across lots of different avenues of life. It made it more fun if you could turn it into a surprise.
Mhm.
And the way Kimberly and I live is we give each other adventures all the time. So we have a planned adventure, and like, I don't want to know anything about it. I mean, she's gone so far as like programming the GPS, and she'll just follow she could take a left and take a right and take a left, and so I don't know where we're going. And when you have a high degree of trust, you know,
Mhm.
I trust that this thing that's going to happen is going to be really great. So I want to enjoy, I want to be, here's, I think, what it is, being very present in the anticipation. So it's not like I'm future thinking, because if I'm always thinking about something that's going to happen, I'm not enjoying what is happening. Right. And so I enjoy the anticipation, because that feels very energetic and bubbly, and gosh, what's going to happen? And oh my gosh, this is going to be great. When I say that, what is that? Do you have such a sensation?
Yeah, I think it's for me though, it's probably not quite as visceral. Um, I think I oftentimes it's like I know that it's going to be good and I don't think about it too much.
Mm.
Um, I just know that it's going to be cool.
When I was growing up, my mom was a nurse, and I can't imagine she made a lot of money. I was single, single mom, single parent.
Hmm.
And I remember her telling a friend, because I'm pretty sure she didn't tell me this, but she spent all of her money, her excess money, on two things: Christmas, because to her it was a big deal that Christmas extended well beyond the bottom of the tree and out into the
Hmm.
living room. That was really big, important to her. So she would go into debt for that, and a 4 to 5 week vacation every summer from the
Wow.
time I was, I don't know, 9 till I was probably insufferable as a teenager at around 14, probably. So for, let's say, 5 years, we went on 4 to 6 week vacations pretty much all summer.
No kidding.
Yeah. And they were driving trips,
Like
and
road trips.
they were every single one was a road trip. And I'm in the process of writing about this now, which is why it's on my mind. This Right now, I can't imagine taking 6 weeks off from my life to go have another 6 weeks off. I mean, to
Hmm.
be able to do that. But you remember the AAA, Automobile Club of America?
Hmm.
they used to have a thing called a trip tick, and you would go into, we would go into the AAA, and we're going to Seattle, or we're going to Vancouver, and we're going to drive from LA. And they would they had this huge wall of these the little cubbies that had little bits of map that were only
Hmm.
I think 100 miles long, maybe. And so they would assemble our trip for us from all these different things, and then bind it into this little triptych, right? That had
Oh.
the here's the road, and then here are things along the road.
Hmm.
And what we did was we had one of those trailers that you pull, that you wind up and then expands up and
Oh,
expands out
uh-huh.
so you could sleep. And we would go, we had no real destination. We had an idea, okay, there's campgrounds where we could park, but it was completely in the moment of, what are we going to see today? We don't know. It's all about exploring and adventuring, and getting to see the country and see it slow, right? See it very
Oh,
slowly.
and I see that's part of what I love, and that's part of why. I mean, so tying into the anticipation piece, the anticipation would be anticipating that I'll get to do what you just described.
Yeah.
Even not so much the anticipation of, oh, I'm going to go to this destination, but it's more the anticipation of living my during that period of time of vacation, living my life in a bit of a different way.
Yes.
Where it's like,
Yes.
do I want to get up and have coffee and hang and watch birds for 3 hours and then drive somewhere? Or do I want to be on the road by 4:30? It sort
Yeah.
of doesn't matter.
I jokingly say that I know I'm on vacation if I can take a nap after breakfast,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
and be totally fine with that. I think, as I don't know, I wanted to say as men, but I think it's probably just as humans, we're just so outcome focused, and so do we got to do this, we got to serve, we got to go, and that hasn't reduced as I've gotten older. It's just more of a so when, like, tomorrow, Sunday, that's a no alarm day,
Mm.
and I feel it's like I look forward to not having to wake up on a schedule. And it's a tiny thing. It's almost like a little vacation from my alarm clock.
Hmm. I love that idea. What I look forward to, because I tend to wake up fairly early every morning. What I look forward to is after I wake up that I don't. I usually wake up and I do like a little sit, and then I'm sipping on my coffee, and the waking up part remains fairly consistent. The part that it's like after I've done my sit and had my coffee, normally I have to then start doing chores, feeding, getting ready for my day. The vacation, or that the part that I look forward to, is it's like, okay, well, I don't have to do after my coffee. It's like, oh, what do I want to do now? And um, one of the things that's been interesting in my life is that as I've grown older, it's almost like I plan less.
Mm,
And it doesn't mean that I'm not busy. It's just that it's like, um, I mean, today I will be seeing clients all day. There would have been a time where a number of days ago, I would have looked and gone, okay, I'm working with this person, this couple, and I would put together little plans. What happened today was I got up and I went, wonder who I'm seeing today. Wonder what I'm doing. And so I would look at my schedule and was like, oh, okay, well, this is cool. Okay, I need to think about this a little bit. And um, I'm planning a lot. I plan less.
So as you're saying that, I'm thinking of our listener who is going, yeah, great, you guys. I got 3 kids. I got my wife. I got my job. I got the things blowing up all around. I love this idea, this idyllic universe the two of you are living in as we're, as we just don't have all of those
Mhm.
things going on. And so I'm thinking about one of the people in our improv troupe, lovely woman, has 4 young kids, well, 12 to 9, so young kids,
That's pretty young.
and they are there with grandma and grandpa in Mexico for 6 weeks. And so she did her show last night, and her husband joined her in our after party at the pizza place. And I just looked at him. I said, "You guys have some time away from the kids. You get a little bit of break. They get to go have fun and be a break, but you
Hmm.
guys get to have a break with each other and have a little bit of vacation." So sometimes vacation is from something,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Instead of going to something. Yes.
I hadn't thought about it until just now. Is the vacation is to leave rather than to arrive.
Hmm. So I have a question with this, and a question for you and maybe for the audience. Because here's what I see. And for those people who actually have retired, and both of us have retired in some ways, and other ways we have not. Um, the people who have retired and really don't have anything that they're doing that they really love,
Hmm.
oftentimes what I see is they're sort of just waiting to get older or die or something, or they're trying to find things to fill their day. Um, how important is it to you to do something meaningful throughout your day, or to have something meaningful in your life happening?
I think having something meaningful in life to do is to me is really important. Mine is in a big part of my job is enabling and helping people get their ideas out into the universe, and
Hmm.
that is super meaningful to me. It's to both of us. It's helping people become better communicators, and I think it's a skill we don't spend enough time on early in life on how to communicate. And so any chance I get to do that, that's meaningful stuff. It doesn't feel like work at all to me, because to me it's something I'm good at and I can do, and I love doing it, and it makes a huge difference, and I love that. It's the doing versus not doing, you know to me here's the thing. It's like a guilty pleasure to not do something meaningful, like to not have every minute mean, like I'm on mission, I'm on point,
Hmm.
I'm doing like it's everything is intentional, which is 90% of my life. And even to the point of we're going to intentionally take a day off without any constraint, because because our body is saying, you guys better slow down for a minute,
Hmm.
right? You just need a break. You may not want to break, right? But
Right.
you need a break. And ironically, and this kind of answers it, is we're terrible with unstructured time. We're absolutely awful. And
You
we,
and Kimberly?
oh God, it's last and I changed as you know, I'm a private chef 2 days a week. That's my actual
Hmm.
job, right? Is doing that. Um, and I would cook on Sundays and Wednesdays. And she said, because you cook on Sunday, and she will work with, get all of her client stuff done on Sundays or her back office stuff. She said, we don't have a day off because Saturday's usually chores and seeing family and doing
Hmm.
stuff like that. We don't have a day off. So could you change? And so about a month ago, I moved cooking to Monday and Thursday.
Mm.
And so now we have this chunk of time. And last week we said we could do whatever we want. What do you want to do? So this was a fun game. We played a game for an hour, sitting around playing word association with things we weren't going to do today. Well, we're not going to go take a hike. We're not going to go take a drive up to San Ynez. Oh, you know what else we're not going to do? We're not going to go to the beach. And we just played that. We're improvers, right? So we played this game of all the things we're not going to do. And we finally, I think there was something we wanted an electronics thing we wanted to see and not just buy it from Amazon and be disappointed. So we drove to a Best Buy. Haven't been to Best Buy in years and years and years. And that's what we ended up. Had all these things we weren't going to do. And coming back, we're like, we saw a little chocolate, a sign for, craft chocolates. And we just pulled into it and we found buried in this little mall, this husband and wife who make chocolates and have little chocolate workshops. And it's like, we never, ever, ever would have found this place, seen this place. But because we weren't looking for anything, we had this unstructured time.
Mm.
But we just joked about how we're terrible when there isn't, this kind of, okay, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, we're going to do this. So we're just kind of personally challenging ourselves to be better at enjoying nothing.
Yes. Are you able to slow down and settle into that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that happening?
Yeah. We just joke about it because we're there's type A and type A prime. We're type A prime.
What's the difference between those? You might
An
want
order of magnitude.
to. So is type A prime sort of type A on steroids? Is that what it
Yeah.
is?
Yeah.
Got it. Oh,
Yeah. You know us. You've hung out with
I
us.
do know you. Actually, I'm sort of going, what am I? Oh.
No judgy. No judgy.
No, I'm not
it's
judging. I'm just sort of going, oh, I wonder where do I fit in that? What?
well, people ask us that we get this all the time. How do you guys do as much as you do? Like, how do you do that? And it's because we're living on a completely different time scale where I exist in a 40-hour day, and I have 40 hours every day to do all the things I want to do. And so time is what keeps everything from happening all at once.
Okay. So what's a 40-hour day?
40-hour day is not letting time live. I mean, I can do a lot. I have all kinds of time. I have plenty of time. I don't run out of time. I have lots of time. Need more time? Okay, have more time.
Got it.
It's just a different way. I think it's just a different relationship to it now. And again, I think my circumstance is probably unique, but I love that because we can add in something. Oh, we'll have time. We'll find time. We make time. We'll make time. Have time.
So say what you said. Time is merely what?
Time. This is from the Flying Karamazov brothers, who were very famous juggling brothers, juggling troupe in the 70s and 80s, right? And everything's about timing for when you're juggling, right? It's all about timing,
Totally.
right? And I remember the older brother saying, because we met them at TED. Said
Ah,
time is what keeps everything from happening all at once.
hmm,
And that non sequitur has stuck with me. And it's only one sentence. And it was one brief little encounter with him. And I've kept it. That was 35 years ago. I heard that.
that's incredible. Time is what keeps everything from happening at once. I like that a lot.
So this idea of vacation then is a couple of different things. One is leaving. Everybody take out your calendar right now. Look at your calendar. Is there any white space in the calendar? Just ask yourself, is there any white space in the calendar? So how do you create some more white space? And then how do you celebrate those little chunks? Can you be
Mhm.
so present to celebrate an hour that's unscheduled, unbooked, anything? Can you do you freak out? Can you just, to your point, can you settle into that? So I
Mhm.
think all of us could ask ourselves that. How good are we at that? And are we working to get better at it? I know I'm working to get better at it, and just go, you know what? I'm gonna go sit on the back. You've seen our back deck. I'm gonna go
Mhm.
sit on the back deck and I'm just gonna listen to birds for 45 minutes and be okay that I'm not doing, air quotes, doing something.
Right, right. So, a question to me would be, or maybe to put out to our audience is, are you okay having open space in your life? Are you okay being spontaneous? Are you okay having a day like you just described that you and Kimberly had of you're going to go do X, Y, and Z, and you don't quite know where you're going. You don't quite know how it's going to turn out. You don't quite know how. And you clearly don't know that you're going to meet a couple that makes chocolate. And here's the other thing. And as you've been talking, this actually struck me sort of deeply. Is are you okay not responding to certain things? Because almost, and I mean, you talked about the mother and father that had 4 kids. One of the things I've been finding is with texting, with phones, with social media, it's a 24/7 gig. There's no longer a weekend built in to where we go 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and we have the evenings off, and then we have Saturday and Sunday off, and again we show up at work again at 9 on Monday. That's no longer the case. That our connectivity around phones and I mean, even to the point of my watch, it's like even if I leave my phone in the house, I still get the text message. And are you okay with not not necessarily responding immediately, and even in some cases not responding at all?
I'm getting better, but I'm not very good. I'm interrupt driven to a large degree. And it was why Kimberly didn't want me to get the watch. She
Mm,
says, I will have officially lost you then,
mm,
right? Because you won't be present. Like if something happens. I, so if she and I are interacting, that watch could be burning a laser hole into my wrist, and I am not going to look at it.
mm,
But I get the vibrate, right?
mm-hmm,
One of the things I've learned, get the technology to work for me is to these things called focus modes. So you can put the phone in the different mode where all that shit gets turned off until you turn it back on. The easiest one is sleep mode. You just put it in sleep mode. It's easy, and then it doesn't bother you. And so it's remembering to do that so you can stay focused. And in my case, it's staying focused and being present with her and not being distracted. Yet I was on a call with a client yesterday. His phone was blowing up because the kids are with grandma, and something had happened, and they were like, and I said, dude, we're no longer connected here. And so I need you to go be connected with the family. I can tell something's going on, and I'm releasing you, and it's fine. Go do what you need to do, because it's obviously you can't. I'm terrible at doing two things at the same time, unless I'm cooking.
And I've seen you cook, and you do 18 things at the same time.
Yeah.
So, but part of what I asked that for is, if we're truly going to take a vacation, I mean, the word vacation comes from vacate.
To leave.
Are we going to vacate certain aspects of our lives to be able to go do that? And I mean, sort of coming all the way back around to where we started, it's like, part of the reason I love Alaska just because I love Alaska, because it's wild. There's a different energy there. But there are roads that there are a lot of places where there are no roads. And there are roads that are 100 miles between two villages, and there's nothing in between. Part of the nothingness is there's no cell service. It's like there's a place where we don't get to vacate, so that we can actually have, because of cell service. And it's like, I can't tell you how many people on Sunday afternoon at 3:22 text me to schedule something, and it's like, I'm going, really? And it's like, can we give ourselves that space to vacate, even if it's for an hour a day? Or like, I mean, I think, Kimberly's point is perfect. If our watches are on, if our phones are on, and it's like, okay, we're we're having this great conversation, and then 3 texts come in, and it's like, what? And I've even had couples that I work with that, when they're making love, the friggin' texts are going off, and they're trying to answer them, and it's like, seriously? And so, can we give ourselves truly a time away? And because we need that to heal and to recollect what happens inside of us. And so I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, it's the technology has taken over every aspect of our lives. You can't just, that's straight up, that's a fact of life. That is the reality now. So the trick now is coming up with strategies by which it doesn't, where you can vacate your digitalness. Even it's for an hour. I'm like, right now I took my watch off because I need to charge it, so I have it during the day today. But I was thinking, gosh, what if I just took my watch off on Sundays? Right? Took my watch off, left my phone. Like, nothing's going to happen. The world isn't going to explode. If it does, they'll if it's that important, they'll figure it out, or I will miss something. And oh well. Now I am not committing. I'm telling the universe right now, I'm not committing to taking all that stuff off. But that's the kind of thinking I think we need to do
Yeah.
to think about just it's we know how important sleep is, because sleep is that recharging our body, just the biological thing that goes on, the emotion, all this, why we need sleep. And I think that a vacation is as important, yet we don't give it the importance. Do you think I'm wrong?
No, I think you're 100% right.
Yeah.
We need to allow our systems to recharge through being in different environments that we spend every day in.
I think that's a perfect place to end, because I'm going to go recharge my battery. I'm going to go down to LA, and we're going to have, I don't know what's going to happen today. I do know we're going to see Kimberly's assistant. Her sister is a Broadway actress, and they brought the show from Broadway to Los Angeles for 6 weeks, called Into the Woods. And she got us a couple of house seats for our anniversary to go tonight. So I know it's happening at the end, but between now and the end, it'll be an adventure.
Happy adventure.
I love you,
happy
man.
anniversary.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Love you too, buddy.